today I'm going to be doing another poly modeling tutorial, but today it's not going to be really a walkthrough, it's more going to be a pointer of main tools you'll be using as you approach more advanced models, so anything organic. I'm going to make like a plush cat. So tools that you'll be using to tackle that kind of thing, and then I'll just do like a sped up video of me completing the model if you want to see just like my workflow. So let us go. It helps to work from a reference photo. This isn't actually going to be how my cat looks, but I just want to show how you could work off of a photo to start your model. But I'm just going to pull in a cube and scale it down a bit. And from here, I'm mostly going to be working with extrusions and just my basic transformations, mainly my grab. For the first part, I might do some scaling, some rotating. But yes, so I put my reference photo in. I'm going to go into side view, position my cube, and then to start out from here, I'm going to go into edit mode, go into X-ray mode, and then I'll line up my vertices with my reference photo. I'll be then taking faces and extruding them to create more sets of vertices to line up with the photo. So I'll talk through the first few, but then after that we'll speed it up. So I'd go in, grab one of my faces, hit E for extrude, otherwise you have your extrude icon over here. Then I can go back into my side view if I want. Make sure I'm selecting both set of vertices. So I put on X-ray mode. And then just again position your vertices. So I'm just going to extrude like about the same amount each time I do the extrusion. And then rearrange the vertices so that they line up nicely with my reference photo. So I could like do a few sets, then go to the side view in vertex mode, just grab, move them around. If you have a more like gradual shift in where your vertices are lying, you might be able to use your soft selection, that proportional selection, which is O for the hotkey. But again, this is just going to be me grabbing faces, hitting E to extrude, and then going in and lining it up with my reference photo. So I'll speed up for now for getting my basic extrusions in place. Again, I'm not actually going to make this cat. This is just to show how you line stuff up. So when mine does not look like this, you'll know why. So far I've been, again, let me get rid of this, reference photo. In object mode. I've just been moving around those vertices. I started adding some more cuts where I needed more definition. So whereas neck forms, I added a few more cuts. I wanted them to be a little bit rounder because I started with a cube. So it was just relying on that subdivision surface modifier, but I added in some cuts going around. And I did use a tool that I haven't demonstrated before, but we have this little purple rounded cube that you might have noticed if I selected my whole object and then clicked it. It gives you that yellow toggle we're used to for extrusions and insets, but when you pull it, you can round off your edges or you can make it more square. So even though I put it on a square and then I use this toggle, it'll smooth it out for me instead of me having to grab in those corners to smooth it out. So I just clicked A for everything, put on my smooth, and then I just pulled this toggle to smooth that out. I do want to show one other way. So for this head, I used extrusions and changing the scale of my various edge loops to define that neck. Let me add a circle, let me add another head on his back side so he's like cat dog. But I could have also brought in a separate shape. So within edit mode, I can always do Shift A and add in another primitive. So if I went in, added a cube, oh, this is going to be hard with my soft selection turned on. And then let me just drag it to his backside. I could use this and pretend it's the head and connect it to the body. So I guess in this case we'll pretend it's going to be a big fluffy tail. The one thing I want to do though, so I'm basically going to connect these. Well, make sure I'm constraining. I'm going to be connecting these by like bridging my edges over. And one thing I want to pay attention to is how many vertices are on this object compared to this one. So this one you can see like he has a square on his butt and it's split up into a 3x3 grid. So if I wanted to connect this to that, I would have to have a clean mesh at least. Make sure I also have that 3x3 grid. If I was connecting this to just that very small square, this would be fine. I could easily go in, let me go into edge mode, grab this edge and this edge, and be able to bridge between that if that's what I wanted to do instead. So let me just show really quick. I'd want to go in and delete these faces first. So because this will become the outer shell and then I'll be connecting that in. If I go to face, grab this face, hit X, faces, same with this X, faces. I can then go edge mode, and an easy way to do it is just select both, then do F for face/fill. You can see I can go in as well for this. So that's one way to do it if I was just connecting it to that. But if I wanted to connect it to this larger piece, I would want to do those edge loops so that we have some matching geometry. So I just add a slice, do matching 2 cuts, and then go in. Oh, I gotta do matching cuts on the side. Silly. And honestly, I may as well do some this way. We'll just make a Rubik's Cube. Okay. And now I'm going to go in, delete the faces that I won't be seeing. So select them on my cube, select them on my cat's bottom. And then I can hit X, faces. And then I can go and select, I can either do like select an edge, huh, and hit F for fill. Or I can hit the wrong button, select those two loops, do CTRL+E, and hit bridge edge loops. So hitting F can do one at a time. To do multiple at a time, you're going to hit CTRL+E to bring up your edge options. We've brought up our edge options for our UV unwrap, so CTRL+E. And then near the top there is bridge edge loops. So if we click that option, you can see we've connected that now. Look at that, beautiful. Now this looks more like a cartoon hammer. So I'll morph that into some sort of tail, but I also want to show one more handy thing when we're working this way. So going in, I'm going to start doing my legs, but since that's going to be me like working on either side of my model and like extruding, it's going to be a lot easier if I can just work on one side and have the other side just copy what I'm doing. So I'm going to chop my model in half and put on a modifier that'll do exactly that. So anytime I grab something over here, the other side is going to mirror my movements, and mirror is the modifier. But in order to do that, I have to actually chop my model in half first. So get your loop cuts out. Just add one right down that y-axis. Why is my thing like not lined up perfectly? Oh, I probably did some smooth select, didn't I? We'll have to fix that. But then I'm going to go into face mode, and I want to just select all of the faces on one side of the y-axis, this green line. So easiest way to do that would probably go into my front view, select, oh, we didn't have X-ray mode on. Front view, X-ray mode, drag select. Do we miss any? We missed a couple right up here. Oh, and then I hit the wrong thing. I want to hit Control to do my like connecting select. So once I have half the faces selected, I'm just going to hit X and then delete my faces. So now I have a hollowed out version of my cartoon hammer, future cat. But now I can go in, add a modifier, and there should be a mirror modifier. If you don't see yours, it might be because you're over a different axis, so you can hit his head became a booty. You can even select multiple at the same time, but just find the one that is the proper flip. And now when I go into my edit mode and grab into anything on this side, you can see it automatically mirrors it on the other side. So this will be handy to get those arms in, do any alterations where I want them to be the same. When you reach a point where you do want to do like alterations where it will be uneven, you'll want to apply that mirror modifier, just so that, let me actually apply it. Now you can see you have all of your vertices at your disposal to change separately. So keep that in mind. Be handy to save time, but I'll do a zoom version of me modeling again. Okay, once you're done with like working in your mirror mode, I'm not actually done. I just want to point out how I'll do the ears. But you want to make sure that you might have noticed while I was working, every now and then I would have gaps from just like scaling stuff. So you want to make sure you go back in and center this center edge, so you can scale it. In my X direction, hit 0, and then make sure the X value with your N hotkey. So do N hotkey to bring up some like handy info. You could type in to your X value 0 to position all of those vertices directly on that y-axis. So now, really quick before I actually apply this, because I'm going to want to work this tail a bit more, but not in my mirror mode, but I want to put my ears in, but for that it's going to be a little different. So still, so far this was extrusion, adding some loop cuts, scaling, rotating, moving. Oh, that looks a little gross. Oh, these I'd have to move out. But I'm going to do an inset to move my ears, to form my ears. How's that for now? A little less gross. Okay. So I'm going to grab a part of the head, I think would be where I want the ear. Right there. Right there. I think I'll go right there. So technically, I mean, if I was doing like a bunny's ears, I could just do extrude and like, ta-da, I have a bunny. But for some finer detail, I could have also done this for the legs if I wanted a little bit, because this is kind of going to look like what I'm about to do. But if you do I for inset, or there is that inset option we've covered before. Toggle the toggle, and you can add a face that's like a smaller version of your face, and you might also notice it has a few other notable faces. But you can move this around then, have a nicer transition. What I actually want to do in my case is grab these other faces and extrude these to make my ear. I'm going to hit E, and then I'm going to start extruding these to form the face, whatever I'm making, my ears. And then it'll just be a matter, again, of moving my vertices around, maybe doing a few more extrusions to add some more divisions in it, and then moving those around, scaling them to get a more ear shape. Okay, so here's my model. Again, I can continue refining it. I can add some loop cuts in areas I need some more definition. So closer together, I have those loop cuts. The more defined it'll be, especially when I have my subdivision surface on. I can go in, apply my mirror filter once I'm done with this, and then I can go and edit vertices on either side individually. But the main tools I use when I'm doing some more advanced models are, again, my loop cut to add divisions where I need some more definition. I'll be using Extrude to extrude out faces and then do basic transformations just to move them around to get the size and scaling I want. I start off with a pretty blocky structure, but the more definition, extrusions I add, the more refined it'll be. You can also use, we have the smooth tool that, again, if you hit A and then click it, you can see you get a toggle that can either squarify or like smooth out all of your vertices to be a little bit more circular. And then we also have our fill or our bridge option. So that's how I did the tail rather than extruding this out. Oh, what did I do there? GG slide this. Let me go past. But we have our fill, so that's selecting two like opposite faces you want from each other. Hit F and it'll fill a face in there. You can also do a loop, connecting to a loop, and do CTRL+E, bridge edge loops, and it'll form a bridge. Depending on if you have an equal amount, you'll either have a nice straight bridge across, or here I apparently did not have a good amount. Oh yeah, because it went all the way around down there. It'll do its best. So mostly just extruding, moving stuff around, and you'll eventually get to the form you want to continue refining, continue extruding. If I wanted to add an eyeball here, I could add another like insert here and start like refining that inward, and then I'd probably eventually delete a face where the actual like eye socket would be. If this was like an eyeball like for a real face. For this plushie, I'd probably have it look more like a button on top. Oh, there we go. And I'd probably put a sphere. Oh, that's haunting. I'd probably put a sphere on the inside to act as an eyeball. So that's all for this. If you do have specific questions on what I did, because I know I didn't really explain while I was modeling it, but if you have any questions on the different approaches I take, please reach out and ask me.